Welcome to the Fifth Quarter Podcast. We are back. I believe it's episode 14. I'd have to double check.
Oh man,
it's been a minute. It's been since the season we were doing it.
Yeah,
a little bit. I'm Keff Ciardello, Texas State beat writer for the Austin American Statesman. Over here is Mike Orakpo, former star football player at Texas State, CEO of Athlete Connect. He's CEO.
Yeah,
he's the big man in charge.
CEO, man.
How about that? He's even got the shirt and everything on. But we are back. We've been through a lot since then in our lives. Texas State's been through a lot.
Yep.
It's kind of, and here we are now in February 2020, talking about the Bobcats. And the way that season ended, I mean, no, there weren't many Texas State fans happy. I know I can't think of any that were too ecstatic towards the end of the year. In the middle, the last time we talked, there was a little bit of excitement. They had just gotten their third win, and then it fizzled toward the end of the year. And I feel like attrition played a big part in that. There was, Spav was even talking about it on National Signing Day, which we'll definitely get to later on in the show, NSD, all that good stuff. But he said that they were using backup tight ends as tackles towards the end of the year. Yeah. So, that's how bad it was. Like, they were just completely running out of pieces. So, and you see what they've done in recruiting. We're definitely going to talk about that. You can tell that they are trying to fill those voids, those areas that were lacking. The offensive line, linebacker, they went out and got them. What were some things you were seeing last year that you were like, okay, they got to fix that in recruiting in the offseason?
Well, definitely O-line play. It starts up front. I know a lot of us talk about quarterbacks all the time, but the quarterbacks, they have to, have time to be able to, go through their progressions. One thing that really stuck out to me last year was, we have to be able to run the ball. You have to be able to run the ball. You have to be able to, establish, that aggression up front. In this particular offense, there was plenty of games we went into where we really wanted to run the football, and we couldn't at times, control that line of scrimmage. And then when you look at the passing game of things, sometimes as soon as the quarterback was actually, given the indicator to have the ball snapped, you see some of the defenders in his face immediately, So definitely O-line play. And then that's definitely not going to excuse the quarterback play. That's something that we all know as, followers of this Texas State football team, that we struggle. We struggle with the quarterback position. So something that, that we're looking, to improve on and fix, going into this year.
And that struggle at quarterback, it's such a chicken and the egg situation. Because is it because the offensive line, why Tyler Vitt can't seem to settle and well, I think they were both pretty bad, honestly, when he goes between Vitt and the offensive line. Hats off to Vitt. He's a tough guy, but there's so many passes. You're just like, what are you doing throwing that interception? And then they couldn't get a run game at the 920 yards as a team the whole season. The whole season. Yeah. So, but all of those issues on the offense, they definitely addressed in recruiting, which was big. And you mentioned the run game. They went out and got Oklahoma State running back and Jamal Jeter. They went and got an Arizona State bounce back in Brock Sturgis. That's pretty exciting there. Yeah. And then, of course, Brady McBride at quarterback. Finally, the heir apparent. We talked about him a lot on these podcasts last season. But couldn't play because he was sitting out due to the transfer rules. And all of that. But the offense, it all started with the offense, and they knew that. They addressed it. They went out and got 5 offensive linemen, signed a scholarship, plus 4 others that are PWO, preferred walk-ons. They went and got the running backs. They got McBride. It's going to be a new-look offense this season. And, I'm pretty excited for it coming up in the spring. Next month, they're going to start spring practice, and we're going to see 11 of those 13 JUCO guys. I say 11, but only 10 of them are scholarship guys. There's that one Kevin Howard out of Fort Scott. He's a 6'4" receiver. He's actually walking on. Gotcha. They're getting guys like that to walk on. So,
and the thing I like about it is 11 of those guys are enrolled and on campus. Mm-hmm. So they will be participating in spring football. Oh, yeah.
They're already working out now.
They're already working out. And, I saw some of them there. They're already making tweets and, getting things into the air, letting people know, they're all Bobcat Nation right now. So I love it.
Yeah. Maurice Wren, who Might be my favorite guy they signed. He's outside linebacker out of Tyler Junior College, and man, they need a pass rush, as you know. You're
Right.
Mr. Pass Rush over here. You know that they need that pass. It's something that they haven't had in the defense in a while, and he's the guy who's going to add that wrinkle. But he's one of the new guys talking about, man, I thought I knew what D1 workouts were until they're doing their involuntary workouts in the offseason. You know, that works. You don't have to be here, but you have to be here type of workout. And they're getting baptism by fire right now with these workouts. And the new strength coach, what's his name? Damian Harrington. We'll talk about him.
Yeah, we'll talk about him
because there's new coaches.
It's new feel, new energy, new vibes. You know, it's good. It's good for our football team. When you're going into spring football, I'm glad that they did it early. They did it early. If he was gonna make a strength and conditioning change, it was news to me. It was a surprise, you know. Yeah. But if you're gonna make a strength and conditioning change, you want to do it early so that you can set the tempo of how the team will be spring football. Spring football is huge. I know a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on fall camp, but without a great spring football, you know, you have a lot of missing pieces as you're going into fall. That's why I said I was glad that we have so many of our JUCOs that's already on campus, and a lot of our transfers that's on campus already.
Absolutely.
So working with the new guy, the new strength and conditioning coach, that's a big deal.
Getting them tuned up early. Because, I mean, imagine if Maurice Wren is tweeting like, oh, man, these workouts are so hard a month before the season starts in August. He's tweeting it out now. It's like, okay, get him conditioned, and then he can start learning the playbook. Right. By the time the season rolls, the Maurice Wrens, the Drew Jacksons, Marcel Barbie, God, there's a lot of really good names they brought in. They're going to be – those extra few months are huge. They're huge to get in condition, to learn a playbook, all that good stuff. And you know, and also get familiar with these new coaches. Right. I mean, Jacob Peeler, we haven't even talked about. Stitt's gone now. I mean, we talked about the offensive woes. Couldn't get the run game going. Quarterback play was bad. Offensive line play. Yeah. The writing was on the wall that they needed to make a change. Right. And I was surprised, but not too surprised after I thought about it for a while when I saw Stitt was gone, because we all talked about Stitt. Bob Stitt, this innovator of the fly sweep, all these crazy things. Right. But and for him to be gone, and when you kind of talk to them about it, like, hey, you know what happened with Stitt? Wasn't anything personal with him. A lot of it was the lack of recruiting. Like, he brought in Gresh Jensen, and that obviously didn't pan out. They had to go with Tyler Vitt. Now Gresh Jensen's transferring out, but that was his big recruit that he brought in. And besides that, he didn't have a lot of other recruits. Yeah. I mean, during the football season, they didn't have any guys commit until after they were done. Yeah. So I mean, and so they knew they needed to make a change there and bring in a guy who can recruit, and that's what they did with Jacob Peeler. Right. I mean, he was at Ole Miss. He brought in rookie receiver A.J. Brown and what's the guy? DK Metcalf. Yeah. Can't forget him. But he brought those guys into Ole Miss, the whole nasty wide-out thing. So that was a big part of the change there at offense coordinator, that and the lack of offense. So for me personally, I was happy to see that they didn't accept what happened last year. Spav didn't accept that. He's like, okay, changes now. Yeah. Like, goodbye to Morris Berger, which ended up being a good move with his Hitler comments. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw that. Crazy. That's great. We'll get to that. Yeah, I saw this one or another one. I want to talk about it really bad. I tried to talk. I was on Bobcat Radio, KTSW, and I tried to bring it up there. And they X'd it. They moved on to the next. I was like, come on, let's talk about the Hitler comments. But they weren't satisfied. So they went out and they made changes. You know, brought in Brian Hamilton, brought in Damon Harrington to coach up, strength and conditioning coach. Yep. So I like that. Even though it was 1 year, you know, some people were like, you know, weren't they going to let him get settled in a little more? It's like, no, winning now. And that's what you see when they bring in these JUCO guys. Yeah. It's win now. And I like that mentality. Right. And that was a huge indicator to me that Coach Spav is going to do whatever it takes to get this job done. He solidified that. You know, when we made these changes, I sent Coach Spav a message. You know, I texted him and I was just like, you know, you're continuing to prove that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the job here. And I appreciate that, because a lot of people would see it as,
oh, this offensive coordinator, this was his first year. He's getting, he's trying to, he has to come in and have time to, kind of get his system in and get his players in, and just the same old blah, blah, blah that we've been hearing for so many years coming from this program, And it's just like Coach Spaff's like, no, we need to solidify this stuff now. We need to set the tempo, set the culture. If you can't recruit, you will not coach here. Mm-hmm. If you're not willing to, come in here and be productive, be innovative, be productive, and actually show signs of getting better, then you won't be on staff here. And I love the fact that he was able to make that change, because I was kind of getting nervous, and me and you talked about this, and it's just like, I sit back and I watch this football team, and I'm looking and I'm evaluating, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not seeing improvement from the offense, and
if anything, we saw they went backwards,
digressed, and it was just like, according to what we know from Spavital, we even asked him. We brought him on the pod, and we asked him, whose offense this was, and who was kind of trying to get him into play calling, and it was pretty evident that he gave full reins to the offensive coordinator. So from what I'm hearing now, it seems like Coach Spav is going to now be in charge of the offense. Mm-hmm. Love it. You got to get your hands dirty, man. You got to get your hands dirty. I mean, I think, I remember when Kevin Sumner was at U of H, I'm pretty sure he was over there, being involved with the offense, calling the plays there. I mean, he got that offense going. When you're at a school like a Texas State, U of H at that particular time, you have the ability to be that coordinator, head coach, where you can have, responsibilities of actually calling plays on that side of the ball. When you have a head coach that comes in, if it's a defensive coach, what's the team going to be? A defensive team. If it's an offensive coach, normally it's going to be what? An offensive style kind of team, But last year, it was a defensive team, and and we had an offensive minded head coach. So I am glad. I'm so excited to see what Coach Spav is going to be bringing to offense this year.
Absolutely. And, but I also understand him kind of giving the reins to Stitt last year. This was his first, 34 years old, 33 years old, somewhere around there. It's his first full year as a head coach. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of moving parts, dealing with compliance, dealing with boosters, dealing with recruiting. There was a lot to handle. And that's kind of why he brought in a guy like Bob Stitt, who's got a lot of experience and kind of take over that burden for him for a while. And I think after being in San Marcos, this is the impression I get, is he's is more comfortable with it. He's ready to take it on. Like, okay, now I'm ready to call the plays. Now I know who I need to talk to when I need money for this, or if I need this, I need this player compliant, or I need whatever I need to do. He knows where to go and who to talk to.
Right.
When his first year, he kind of needed Stitt to do a lot of that. And I'm sure the plan wasn't, okay, bring in Stitt and then I'll fire him after the year. That it was. I'm sure that was.
Oh no, of course.
But he still kind of needed that really experienced guy to come in and also run the offense. Now he's going to call the plays. They bring in Peeler, he's offense coordinator, but he's also going to do the receivers. So the thing about a lot of these coaches, they'll have their title like offense coordinator, tight ends coach, but they're kind of utility guys. Yeah. Like I know Brian Hamilton, the new tight ends coach, he's got a lot of background in with blocking, offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of going to be his deal. He's going to teach the tight ends blocking while Peeler's going to teach him how to pass catch. Right. They're all kind of they'll be utility players all over the deal. And I like that. I like that that a lot of his hires when bringing in these new coaches, it is recruiting. Yeah. Because they didn't have any commits all season. All their commits, they had 5 when the season ended. They got it before the season started. Yeah. And all year, when we were talking about when we were concerned during the season, that was my biggest concern.
Getting a little nervous. We were sweating a little bit.
Because I was like, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's got a lot of, and why it was a defensive team, a lot of Withers commits, defensive coach, defensive team.
Makes sense.
Like you were saying. And so a lot of that, and so I was like, okay, I'm willing to forgive 2019 season, but I was worried for 2020 because I'm like, what are you going to do in recruiting?
Right.
There's none. And then all of a sudden, the tsunami of commits in December. And then they got them all to sign, and they got a few more with Jacob Horn. Love that one. That receiver that they signed at the last minute, that's a Jacob Peeler guy because he went and found that guy in Tupelo, Mississippi. Yeah. And Peeler was at Ole Miss. And so I love it. I love the changes they made. Because of the changes they made with the coaches, it made a change in roster and bringing in these guys. Yeah. And, how do you feel about them going super heavy JUCO, where the majority of the class are guys who aren't going to have 4 years eligibility, but they're going to be ready to go? Yeah. How do you feel about that? You all right with that?
Well, when you look at teams that choose not to go JUCO, normally these are teams where they feel like they have to come in and clean up the program. They have to come in and do a whole clean sweep of the program, and they're wanting to establish a presence like, okay, the incoming high school student athletes that's coming in to be freshmen, we want to mold these guys with our culture of this is the way we do things here with this particular program. I believe Everett Withers went more that way because Everett Withers came in with a 3 to 4 year plan of this is what Texas State's going to be. He came in and he tried to erase anything associated with the previous, previous staff, previous culture, previous traditions, because what Everett Withers was trying to do was he was trying to create a new winning tradition, new winning culture.
Which is admirable, and I respect him trying to do that. Totally.
Charlie Strong did the same thing at UT. He came in, he had a 4-year plan, came in, he tried to move all the guys onto in a particular dorm, and trying to set the culture of being a tough football team, at that particular time. Just trying to, he wanted to get away from the old Western kind of, UT feel. He wanted to, get a tough grit, but country club and all that kind of thing. I saw what he was trying to do. But the thing about it is, you're not always given 4 years. As you can see with Withers, he was only given 3. Mm-hmm. We have a team. We're going now away from the whole we need to establish this culture and doing this and doing that. Coach Spav was like, look, we need to win now. We have a roster of people that cannot be this kind of players that we need now. Mm-hmm. So how does that happen? How can we get these players now? The offensive line that we had, these guys are not ready to play now, as we could see last year. You look at the roster that we had, and there was a lot of players on our roster that really wasn't players, you know what I'm saying? Like ballers, people who, that can get out there and just be a playmaker. Yeah. We didn't have those kind of playmakers. So when you look at those kind of things that's happening on the football team, the first thing that you have to do is you have to go out and get JUCO players. The reason why Coach Fran was able to come in here in his first couple of years going Division I, we went 6-6, 7-5. The reason why is because you had players like Mayo. You have players like, myself and, DJ Indry coming in. Mm-hmm. Ben Ija was a transfer, big-time receiver for us. You had different type of players that was able to come in and was able to change the program now. And that's how we was able to get ourselves up into that 7-5 year. It was then when the recruits, they started going high school after we established the winning. After we started winning and changing the culture around, then what did they do with their recruiting efforts? They kind of went more high school now. In comes people like, Tyler Jones and some of the younger recruits, some that he was getting at that particular time.
Players you can groom while these transfers are
While these transfers set the tempo. Mm-hmm. Then you got the new players that can come in and you can actually groom them. So I look at this Texas State football team, and if I'm Coach Spav, of course, where else will you go to get players that can win now? If you want to have 2 more 3-9 seasons, go ahead. Let's get some high school guys in here. We're going to have to wait till they become juniors and seniors. Then we can start winning some ball games.
People are tired of waiting.
People are tired of waiting.
I'm tired of waiting.
People are tired of waiting. We waited with the last staff. You know, we're going in. This is now year, what is it, 6? This is now year 6 since 2014. We haven't had a winning season since 2014, my senior year. Then this is now year 6. So it's time to start winning some ball games around here.
I'm with you. You know, I'm all for the retool instead of rebuild.
Yep.
Withers, it's great. The rebuild it's admirable, and I totally respect why Withers was going for that.
Right.
What he was trying to accomplish, but unfortunately, at a place like this where it's, I'm gonna choose my words carefully, it's been mediocre for a while.
Yeah.
You gotta.
It has been mediocre for a while. I'll tell you guys that. I'm not. It's been mediocre. I mean, it's one of Keff. We need to stop. Everybody needs to stop believing that what's wrong with saying it's mediocre? It's been mediocre at Texas State University. Football at Texas State University has been mediocre, if that, for a long time now. You know, it's time to get us to believe and understand that we have been mediocre and accept it and then move on and try to get ourselves to the next point. Yeah. I'm okay. I know that we've been mediocre, if that, right about now. And it's time to understand that and then move to the next and trying to get us there. Yeah. I'm tired of just being here and just like, you know, everybody is so ready to come at people for, you know, oh, what did you say about our Texas? Like, no, you know, attendance and all this different stuff like that. We have to handle what we can handle first. I get it. I definitely get it. When it comes to administration, when it comes to attendance, when it comes to fan support and stuff like that, these are all different factors that affects a lot of different things surrounding the program. But when I was on the team and when I was coming into this, and I noticed a lot of mediocrity that was already infested into the program at that point, and I was trying to change it.
It's a mentality.
It's a mentality. It's a mentality. I used to tell the players, I don't care if it's 5,000 or 50,000 people wherever we play at. If we do our job and start winning football games, guess what? They're going to show up. I guarantee you they're going to show up. What happens when we went out there and we beat U of H? Texas Tech, I remember when I first got here, it was a line outside of the Texas Tech game. The attendance was approved. If you look at the attendance compared to where it is now, compared to when we was winning before, it was better. Not saying that it was the best, but it was better. Look at basketball attendance. Basketball attendance, has it improved?
Oh yeah.
The program improved.
And you know, and what happens, basketball is the literal proof of what you're saying, because they'll win a few games in a row, then all the fans will show up and there'll be a letdown with the loss, and they'll kind of disappear. But you can kind of see, like, okay, you start to win. If you build it, they will come type of mentality. You start to win, the fans will start to show up. Right. I mean, no doubt about that. But but where I was going before, like where with the mediocrity thing, is you got to retool. Because that was the biggest thing Spav was saying on National Signing Day. The biggest thing to me was that when he looked out on the field and he saw Texas State, they were the smallest team in the Sun Belt as far as stature-wise, you know? Right. And he said, you can't have that. Got to go out and get longer, bigger athletes. Absolutely. We got to, like that. He agrees with you that what he saw was mediocre. You got to fix it. And you got by doing that, you got to retool. Right. I mean, we can wait for the high school kids all we want, but I'd rather see Drew Jackson go out there and catch a touchdown. I'd rather see Russell Baker and Alex Castillo go out there and start mowing a line for the Jamal Jeter and the Brock Sturgis of the world. These guys who are ready to go. Right. And I cannot wait to see them in spring. You know, I can't wait to see them in fall and during the season. Yeah. We're just too far away from football right now in February.
Man, I agree. I
need football now, man. No, but I'm with you 100%. And I think Spav is with you 100% too. That mediocrity, it's got to end. It's got to stop. Right. You know. Right.
And then once we start winning and, you know, handling our part, winning some games, winning those home games where those fans show up and show up support, then, you know, at that point you have to start looking at, you know, the fans have to start looking at themselves in the mirror as well, and the supporters of the team, like, okay, what am I doing? Am I doing my part? Am I showing up? And am I giving these kids a chance, you know, these players a chance at the beginning of the season? Every season is brand new. You start off 0-0, you know, so they still have to be given a chance to, be in position to show you guys, okay, this is what we got this year.
Yeah, but in fans' defense, they haven't been given the benefit of the doubt. The players have. You one good season, and then talk to me at the beginning of 2021, and that's when they need to be there. Then it's on them for sure. But as of right now, it's up to the team to get those W's in.
Focus on winning. I don't want to see. I hate one thing. I hate, and I'm gonna be real. I hate seeing the slept on us tweets, and I hate seeing the we ain't getting no support tweets and stuff like that. And I'm just like, do your job, like control what you can control. If you're not winning games, then everyone should be sleeping on y'all. Yep. Don't be surprised if we are 1-11, we get picked, or we get picked to be 2-10, or we get picked to be 3-9 again by the Sun Belt. It's not disrespect. It's reality. Because why should anybody give us more than what we've earned? You see what I'm saying? So when we get to that point of knowing, okay, this is where we at, but we ain't gonna be here long, then I feel like that's the mentality that is going to help us, get to that next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to get to while we're still talking about it, we were looking at Bill Conley has his Texas State day today.
Oh yeah, pull him up.
Because it is Tuesday, and he made some really good points too, he did a little Twitter thread. Here we go. I got it here. See, he talks a lot about attendance and kind of stuff what we're talking about. But Texas State has been decent defensively for a few years. And this is from Bill Conley's tweet.
Okay.
Texas State has been decent defensively for a few years, but showed at least a few signs of life on offense with head coach Spavital on OC Stitt. I didn't see much of the life, but I guess he did in some of the numbers there. 10.4 yards per completion on the pass, which was an increase. Banged up offensive line, running back core was lacking all that. Yeah, Texas State defense was excellent from a big play prevention standpoint, but no disruption whatsoever. Pass rush. That's why I really like Maurice Wren. I think he can come in here and really fix that. 113th in sack rate in the country. So there's a lot of these are deals that they fixed in recruiting,
right,
which is exciting.
Right.
Texas State have some receivers who can beat man coverage, and they should be able to with much more experienced offensive line. But oh boy, are they reloading at linebacker and DB. 4 of the top 6 DBs are gone, and 7 of the top 8 linebackers are gone. Man, 4 of the 6 DBs. I think that's one I didn't realize.
Right.
Definitely retooled with the Grit Isidores and Zion Childress, the new Caney quarterback, that they're going to move the defensive back. So they've done a lot to fix that. Really, like that's. Oh yeah. But 7 games as a 12-point underdog means a ceiling of about 4-8 and 5-7. That's where I wanted to get, because you were talking about predictions for the season. Even Bill Conley's still thinking 4-8, 5-7. Even with all he knows all the changes that they've made in recruiting and all of that. So expectations definitely aren't going to be high for this team.
Yeah. And
we'll see more. Hopefully you come out some spring games.
Yeah, I will.
Spring practices. But they'll that's where I feel like we'll be able to see a lot. I can't wait to see Brady McBride.
Yeah.
Really get under center and take some snaps with this offense. I mean, he went out of his way to kind of rave about McBride at National Signing Day, talking about how they didn't sign a quarterback because that's their guy. Brady McBride is the quarterback. So, I mean, I don't think there's any controversy between us on who should be quarterback.
Yeah, no controversy.
We're both in agreement. I like Tyler Vitt. I like his grit. But gosh, I don't want to see him out there again. I really don't.
Yeah, I actually have some good expectations. Some positive expectations coming out of this year for this team. I'm not quite going to. I want to at least watch some spring practice before I come out with a big prediction.
Sure.
Okay. So let's watch some football first, so we can I can come out with a prediction. But just on paper, based off of where we at. It's definitely going to look like a much better year. Yeah. You got to think about it. I mean, we went 3-9 so last year. So we're definitely going to put some more W's on the table. But the main thing that we're going. Let's reposition here. Let's reposition here. All right, let's go to the board real quick. I'm gonna tell you guys the main thing that we need for Texas State football team.
I feel like
it's gonna be one. The main thing that we're gonna need on this Texas State football team. I think this is gonna be the key thing. Okay. All right. Playmakers. We need playmakers, man. We need playmakers on this Texas State football team this year. Okay. One thing, watching other teams, and we watched a lot of college football. We need a running back that's gonna be able to rival 1,000 yards. Period. We need a running back that, I'm not saying he has to be a 1,000-yard rusher, but at least get in position to be a 1,000-yard rusher on the running back. We need a wide receiver who's going to be able to rival 1,000 yards, okay? Even if it's 800 or 900, we need a receiver that's going to be able to rival that, all right? If we're going on the offensive side of the ball, obviously, we need a quarterback that's going to be what? A playmaker. We need a playmaker quarterback. So McBride is coming in. He's going to be able to say snap, boom. He can look at his guys. He can get his playmaker wide receiver the ball. All right. He can get his running back. He can check down. Guess what? This 1,000-yard running back can actually get yak yards down the field because he can get the ball and do what? Make plays. All right. Then O-line. We need a whole O-line that's going to be able to survive run support. It's very simple. Texas State offensive line last year, we was not able to run the ball. We have to be able to run the ball. We have to be able to protect this guy right here, the quarterback, to allow him to do what? Make plays. All right? Defensive side of the ball. We are losing a lot of people on defense. We're losing a lot of linebackers. We're losing a ton of personnel up front, which is D-line. We don't have any pass rushers because last year, to be honest, we struggled on, getting to the quarterback. Yeah. All right. So on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to tell you right now, LBs is the number one thing we're going to need to make sure that we improve. All right. LBs. We're losing Belo. We're losing Nick Daniels. We lost Frankie Griffin on the outside. All right. D-line, we need some people who's going to be able to be pass rushers, all right? We need people who can get to the quarterback, pass rushers. Each time that when you look at our defense last year, a big part of it is we gave the quarterback too much time when he had his hands on the ball, all right? So coming in, we losing our linebackers that's able to provide, run stops. We're able to be sideline to sideline linebackers. So we're going to need to be our D-line, all right, improving from last year. Our DBs, to be honest, what was the verdict on DB play last year, Kev? What do you think?
It was really good, but they lost 4 of 6.
That's my only thing is the
Sean
depth.
Waddy, Taylor.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my only thing with the depth. So DBs really is depth. That's it. All right, it's depth between DBs. We just need to improve on getting these new. We got some JUCO guys that I like that I looked at, and I looked at their film. There's some ball hawks on the DB side. So defense, as long as we're able to fill this hole right here between linebackers, and we're able to get pass rushers in on the defensive side of the ball on that D-line, I think we'll be okay on the defense for the most part. I know we're losing some big dog linebackers. Hopefully that can be filled in with JUCOs. But at the big point of the time, on the big picture, this is it. This is it right here. If we get playmakers to come in and Keff, if we go after the season is over and we start saying, who's our dogs at linebacker? Who's our dog at D-line? Who's our guy at DB? Our quarterback is what? McBride, okay. Then we have a receiver and a running back dog. I guarantee you we'll win we will be a minimum of a 6-win team this year. That's it.
Boom.
Boom.
I was wondering what you were going to do with the whiteboard. See, I was trying to write.
Hey, we got our new whiteboard segment. We're going to keep adding this in for you guys, man.
I like it. You utilized it really well. But I'm with you on the playmakers deal. I mean, that's what they need. And I mean, especially when you wrote the 1,000 yards on the run back, I got flashbacks to when I said I thought Taylor was going to get 1,000 yards rushing last year. You know, because they need that running game. They need that guy. But I really feel like they found that with Sturgis and possibly Jamal Jeter. Yeah. But he's the guy from Oklahoma State. May have to sit out a year. Yeah. But they're going to do the whole waiver wire deal. Yeah. Or not waiver wire, NCAA waiver.
Yeah. They haven't treated us well on that in the past, you know, NCAA.
But I'll say that McBride came in August.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if that plays a factor, but we'll see. Gotcha. We'll see. And so they'll have more time. It's Silas Robinson and Jamal Jeter, because then they signed another safety, Torrey Spears. He was at
because Jeter is the other back, right? The other transfer back,
right? Yeah, if they can get Jeter and Sturgis going next year, woof, I'm telling you,
I think we'll be all right. Yeah,
Sturgis at least. I think Sturgis he'll be that playmaker on offense. Yeah, they signed some guys to be playmakers at receiver. I feel there's multiple guys that could break out at that receiver position between Drew Jackson, Marcel Barbie, Jacob Horn, the high schooler that they got. Then they also signed Kevin Howard, the big tall guy at Fort Scott I talked about earlier.
We got our guy at we haven't even talked about the tight end position, but we do have our guy coming back. What was
Micah Hiltz.
Micah Hiltz.
Good call on Micah Hiltz.
We got Hiltz coming back. Yeah. So now that we know, because coming in, we didn't really, Hiltz was trying to get him involved in the offensive game plan.
He got injured.
And then he got injured. And, so now I feel like Spav knows what he can get out of Micah Hiltz.
And that's one guy that Spav was like, that's an NFL guy. He said,
absolutely.
He said Micah Hiltz and Canberra Winters started at corners. See, they're pretty good at corner with Winters out there. Those are two guys that he immediately complimented. We're like, those are NFL type guys.
Right.
Which was surprising that he chose two true freshmen out of the whole. Those are the two guys he said, those are NFL guys.
Yeah.
So playmakers, they need them. They need them, but I for one think they found them. They found multiple playmakers on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, even at that middle linebacker spot, it's going to really hurt with no Brian London and no Nick Daniels. But they supplemented. They went and signed a handful of linebackers. One of the JUCO inside linebackers I don't know much about is Isaiah Kareem. I meant to do more research on him. They brought him in kind of late. But I expect him to maybe start inside linebacker and all that. They're bringing back Hal Vinson. Don't know if you knew that. But they redshirted him. They redshirted him.
We was able to save him, I
don't know about Gavin Graham. I need to check on Gavin Graham. But he tore his ACL. And so I think he got a medical red shirt.
Gotcha.
So, but
it'd be good for a pod to kind of do a recap on all those guys to see
for sure. But honestly, when March 3rd rolls around, that's when spring football starts. That's when a lot of questions are going to be answered for me. Yeah. Who's coming back? Who's not? Because I can already tell you a handful of guys that I've learned. I don't even think I've tweeted about two of them. Mm-hmm. Caleb Carlisle and Josiah Washington, two offensive linemen. They're out.
Wow.
Guys who were here. But I mean, that was some fallout of that position. It was expected because they signed 5 and they're bringing in 4 others as PWOs. One of those 4 walk-ons, he's 6'7", 290 pounds.
Yeah,
big boy. I mean, they're going and getting some big bodies.
Yeah,
and that's
one thing I did notice, that we're getting some big bodies,
longer, taller, faster. Yeah. That's what they want. That's what they're doing. And I mean, it goes back to Spav looking out against Sunbelt competition and going, we're the smallest team. Yeah, got to change that. Yeah, and so it seems like that they've taken that playmaker thing to heart. Yeah, because
the thing about playmakers is, as much as you try to, get them on paper and get the biggest guy, get who you think is the strongest, the fastest, or who you think film look the best and stuff like that, you're never gonna know who your playmakers are till you dare get on that field. So when I talk about playmakers, we won't know who these guys are. I mean, the only person we probably know here is, we know, we have an idea, but we don't know who these people will be until spring football comes. Mm-hmm. We won't know. So when we start solidifying who our playmakers are, who we can count on, just like how we had just think about it. You have multiple people, and I keep bringing up his name, but Brian London, right? We knew game in and game out, he gonna come to play. That is a playmaker on defense. You get a couple of him on defense, playmakers. We know he gonna ball regardless. Rain, sleet, snow, sun out, he gonna ball. You get some people like that on offense. This running back gonna ball. Micah Hiltz is gonna ball. McBride is gonna do his thing. We have 2 dog offensive linemen you start solidifying who your playmakers are. That offensive game, but Jake Spavital will be licking his chops. He's gonna be able to do so much when he knows exactly who his playmakers are, who his guys are. He's gonna figure that out in spring football.
And I really think, I don't mean to get too ahead of it, getting into the fall, but I really think that this conference can be flipped on its head. The way the Appalachian State, they keep running through coaches. One that'll stay the same is Louisiana Lafayette. Billy Napier, he could have left and gotten jobs elsewhere, and he stayed put. But besides
Billy Napier is going to be gone soon.
But he stayed. He stayed. He could have left, and he stayed.
He could have. But Billy Napier
will eventually leave.
Yeah, this is probably going to be his last year there.
You think so?
Yeah. But Billy Napier was at Colorado State when I was there.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. He's probably. That's funny. You and I've never talked about that.
He was with Coach McElwain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know him real well.
Yeah, I know Coach Napier.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, so he got there. He's an SEC guy. Yeah. So I would say he's getting ready to be gone in the SEC. He has his eye on whatever job that he probably wants. So that's probably why he's sticking around.
Because I know he was off. Apparently, he had a lot of offers.
Yeah,
but
Mississippi. I forgot what school. What school it was.
Missouri, maybe.
Mississippi State before they got Leach. I'm not sure which one it was.
I don't think it was Missouri actually. Yeah, that was Drinkwitz who left at State to win to go there. But that being said, I really think this conference it's due to be flipped.
Yeah,
because it's been kind of the same 3-4 teams. The Raging Cajuns, the Red Wolves, and the Mountaineers have kind of been the ones who've been on top, and it's due for a flip because that tends to happen around this time. And I think Texas State can be one of the teams that can do it if they can put it together with these teams. Like it could really go from dumpster fire to the top of the conference.
I agree.
In the matter of one season, but we'll see if McBride and some of these other guys are really as good as we have hyped them up. I for sure have hyped them up.
Yeah, I've been right there with you.
That people have talked about these guys. But we'll see. I really think it can be flipped. But let's go. I think we only have one question. We'll wrap it up with our one question. Cool. You guys need to ask us more, but
man, get your questions in, man.
Give them the benefit of the doubt. We've been off the waves for a while now. So and now we're back. We're gonna start bringing it to y'all more consistently out here on the Fifth Quarter podcast. But let me search for our one question. I think it was my guy 210 Bobcat. All right. It is 210 Bobcat. And it's a question for Mike. So, this is from 210 Bobcat at TX State for Life. Thanks for the question, bud. We really appreciate it. I know he's asked us questions before on ones we've done. Question for Mike. As a Bobcat, former student athlete and trainer, what would you say to a recruit if they asked you about Texas State?
If they ask me about Texas State, I'm assuming
like what would be your pitch for Texas State if someone's like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe playing for the Bobcats. Mike, tell me about Texas State.
Well, this is probably not going to be the best, the answer I guess that you're looking for. But to be honest, I'm not trying to be cliche here, but I always like to educate these athletes about, when you're looking at a program, you want to look at the actual school and the program versus just looking at the coach and who's there currently. Because to be honest, a lot of these kids and recruits these days, they're committing to their position coach and they're committing to their coordinator and they're committing to the head coach when it's just like, that person may be gone. The likelihood of you keeping your position coach, coordinator, and head coach from your freshman year to your senior year is it's very unlikely. I've never, in all my years of playing, it's never happened to me where I kept, that. So one thing that I do tell them is just check the school out, So my pitch is go to Texas State and you know, just kind of get a feel for how the campus life is. You know, get a feel for, you know, go to the river and see how things are there. You know, check out the life. And do you see yourself going to school here? Do you see yourself at this being an alma mater to you? You know, and most of the time it's just going to be like a hell yes, you know, because Texas State is has one of the beautiful, most beautiful campuses, like, you know, around. You know, I like to say we're the best in the Sun Belt. You know, so.
And it's one of those. San Marcos is a place you have to go to experience.
You have to go.
Like, we can tell you about the river, we can tell you about all this stuff, but I'm with you on that pitch.
Yeah.
It's a place where it's like you just kind of have to go and check it out because it's not the most popular.
Right.
Everybody doesn't know what's happening in San Marcos like they would at UT, like everyone knows what's going on in Austin.
Right.
It's different. You actually have to go outside of the city and go check it out. But once you do check it out and you see what it's about, I mean, it's one reason I've invested in Texas State. I've planted my flag in wanting to cover Texas State because I'm like, if this gets popping here, it's gonna be big because it has the foundation. Somebody just needs to come and build the beautiful home.
Just beautiful home, and you know, once you get, that's why I have people ask me like, why do you're so passionate about, you know, Texas State and, you know, this Bobcats, like why, you know, what is it, you know, what does it attract, what attracts you to this particular school or program other than you playing there? And it's because of the potential that I know that Texas State can be. You know, you look at towns like Waco, you know, with Baylor. I came up during the era where Baylor was horrible, you know, and all it took was a few resources, you know, a few support from the town, and Baylor has worked themselves up to being now one of the perennial football programs in the country. I remember when Baylor couldn't even win 3-4 games in the season, back when my brother was in his prime playing for University of Texas. I followed the Big 12 during that time. You know, you look at squads like, you know, TCU in Fort Worth, right? And you look at, you know, TCU being now in the Big 12. They used to be in the Mountain West Conference. And TCU has always had a pretty good program. But what I'm saying is they changed the perception nationally. And that's when TCU began to build their brand, when they start changing their perception to everybody nationally and competing on that national stage. So I always tell people football can be football is your front yard of your university. You know, it is your porch of every university. If you have a good football program, if you have a good athletic program, people are going to hear more and more about your school and your university. You go to other places around the country, you know, there's some places where, to be honest, people don't really know too much about Texas State. And it's probably because we haven't had a big time winning football program on a national level. But then have you asked them, okay, have you heard of, you know, Louisiana Lafayette? Have you heard of the Raging Cajuns? And they know the Raging Cajuns. Why? Because the Raging Cajuns and those kind of teams are winning more. They're playing on ESPN more. You know, they get more notoriety. So when we continue to build our athletic programs, when we continue to build things like our football team, because football is huge in this country, whether you like it or not, you're going to watch that school continue to grow on a national stage.
Absolutely, because the meteoric rise can happen. Just like you explained with Baylor and TCU. I definitely remember I went to high school near TCU, and I remember I got into a bowl game they were in for free. Like, that's how bad they were, like, back in the day. Now it's like their rise is more astounding to me than Baylor's. But I mean, even Baylor with their scandal that they had, they were able to recover from that, and look where they are now with Matt Rule winning. Well, Rule's gone. But with the season that they were able to have, I mean, they built something up so big that they were able to recover from that. Whether you agree they should recover, or that's up to you. We won't talk about that here, but it can happen.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm in the same boat as you with Texas State. That it can happen. And what happened to TCU can happen to Texas State.
Look at Boise. You got to add Boise in there. Tell me, Boise wasn't Boise. Boise was a D2 school.
They're in Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho. Who doesn't know? Everybody knows Boise. Everybody knows Boise State University. You know. So, yeah,
that
I agree.
Statue of Liberty play, the whole deal. You know, we only talked about football, but shout out to the basketball team of Nigel Pearson, too. Scoring 2,000 points.
School record, man. That's big time.
Man, he is the only Texas State player to have 3 consecutive 500-plus point seasons.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, really, and the record he broke to be the all-time leading scorer was set by a guy who played in 1960. I mean, there's an old record that he took down. So
yeah.
So and they're still rolling. We'll definitely be talking about a little bit of basketball before it's all said and done. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this one, episode 14 of the fifth quarter in the books. We apologize we were gone for so long. We got all our affairs in order, and we're back, and we're going to start bringing y'all some more consistent work. We got a new producer back here. He's got us all set up.
My man, Chris Haywood, man. He's also a Texas State grad, by the way.
Are you?
Hey, yeah, he's a Texas Bobcat.
We're keeping it in
the family.
That's right. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks.